Hello everybody, I am making this video today in regards of Directv. So basically this is going to be my Directv review feedback type video. So basically I had called today and I've talked to several agents, um, in several different calls. So I will kind of tell you like from each call like what had happened. So these calls are all in like Central Standard Time, from February 15th, 2025. So the first call was at 11 a.m. Um, Central Standard Time. That one was basically like where the female agent had sat there and wanted to cut me off while I was talking. And like once she did it the first time, I was like, you're not going to sit there and cut me off. That is strike one. And so she's like, oh, I'm sorry, and so like I was talking again and then she does it a second time. It's like, that's strike two, like you cut me off again, like after I pretty much told you not to, because that's just rude and unprofessional. And so it's like, just give me your supervisor. Like, so she goes and like puts me on hold so she can reach a supervisor. And so she's like, well, like the supervisor or whatever wasn't available or whatever her excuse was at the time. And so it's like, never mind, don't worry about giving me the supervisor. So I call back in at 11:21 a.m. Central Standard Time, and like with that agent, it was a male agent, and I had sat there and explained like what had happened. I told him, gave him like my name and my PIN to access my account, and I told him, it's like, were you not gonna ask me for like my PIN or my name? And he's like, well, you already gave that to me. I'm like, okay, the point is that you should still be asking customers for like their name and their PIN, to verify everything. So like me and him were going around and around and around on it, and so it's like whatever. Like I told him, that like I'm not gonna sit here and try to sit here and argue with you because it just seems like you're not listening to me like at all. Like you're not hearing where I'm coming from or nothing like that. So I hung up on him, and I did hang up on the first agent as well. So I called back in at 11:32 a.m. Central Standard Time, and that agent sat there and basically told me, that I was like rude, that I was being sarcastic and whatnot. And so it's like, I'm not dealing with this. Like, and I told her straight out, it's like, call me rude again. And, I'm like, because that is just unprofessional. Like, regardless of how rude the customer is to an agent, and like, no employee should be sitting there telling a customer or a potential customer like that they are rude or even sarcastic or anything like that, because that is just like unprofessional all the way around, basically. Um, so like I hung up on her, or she ended up actually hanging up on me. Sorry. And I'm like, so she calls me rude a second time. I'm like, and I demanded a supervisor before she hung up on me, and she refused. So she ended the call. Call back at 11:45 a.m. Central Standard Time and had explained the situation. Like with the last three agents that I had talked to. And so basically they're like, yeah, like we can, like get that figured out, like we'll put it in, to um, make the report, like the complaint for like the complaints or whatever. It's like, okay. And, that, I was telling them that the reason why I was calling in, was because like for some reason I could not get because now they have like new software, or like not new software, but like new devices. Like they have like the Genie and the Gemini, which are like the two newer devices that they have. So it's not going to be like the big bulky um, receiver box that you take the HDMI cord and hook it to the receiver, and then it hooks up to your TV. So now like the ones that they have, which is the receiver that connects to the TV, and then they have a tower like which uses like internet, and um, so like I was called in and said, okay, well, um, that it wasn't connecting, like my the Directv router wasn't, the tower wasn't connecting to my internet. And so like if you have like, it's gonna be like an all black like remote, like where it's gonna have like a button for like apps, like where you can like watch YouTube Kids, like Netflix, like that kind of stuff. And so, and I couldn't get it to work. That's why I ended up calling to get that help. And I think it was the agent at 11:45. They're like, "Oh, okay." So it's like I don't need help now because I got that figured out. And then um so um basically called at like 12:16, um because I guess the person at 11:45 couldn't help me like with the remote, because I couldn't like turn the volume up or down, or couldn't mute the volume. So I ended up calling back in, like at 12:16, and that person was no help like at all at 12:16 p.m. Central Standard Time. Because she wasn't listening to me, she wasn't getting what I was saying or nothing like that. And so I ended up hanging up, because she just wasn't listening. Or I think it might have been that call, like where I get disconnected, and that because we were going through like the troubleshooting. So I called back in at 12:35 p.m. Central Standard Time to get the help, because the call at 12:16 got disconnected on their end. And so I ended up getting the help. Or no, I think like 12:16, like um they did end up helping me like with whatever, because I know at one of the calls it was either between 11:45 and 12:35 that, or between like the 11:45 and 12:16 p.m. call, that I think one of those calls ended up getting disconnected. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It might have been the 11:45 where it gets disconnected, and then call back in for the troubleshooting on the remote, and then or something, and the got everything straightened out and figured out, and like with what I needed, and then because I had to do some updates on the account, and then forgot that I had to do the remote. So the 12:35 was the call that I ended up calling back to say, yeah, like forgot that I needed help with my remote, and they ended up helping me. They're like, with it. So finally got my remote to work, like with the mute button and the volume, because they were trying to, the agent was trying to sit there and tell me, like how I was basically refusing to do any more troubleshooting, how I didn't want to get a new remote. I'm like, okay, that is not what I'm saying. Like, because I told the lady straight out, it's like I am not refusing like a new remote. I'm just saying, I'm just telling you that I did not consent to a new remote, like at all. You are sitting there telling me that I'm refusing to do troubleshooting when I've told you countless times that I've done the troubleshooting with the previous agent that I had talked to in the last call, and like where I've reset my receiver box that connects to the TV. Like I've done everything that I was told to do. So don't sit there and tell me that I'm sitting here refusing to do it with you. And she had asked, like, well, what's the brand of the TV? And I told her, because I didn't know how to properly pronounce the brand of the TV. And it's like, okay, this is how you spell it. And then she says, like, the brand of the TV. And, it's like, yes, that's what it is. And so it's like, and she still kept asking, like, the brand of the TV. It's like, ma'am, I told you, like, what it was, and yet you're still asking for the brand of the TV when I've told you what it was. And I'm thinking, I'm like, it's not my damn fault that you are refusing to listen to me. Not my fucking fault that you didn't hear me, or listen to me when I gave you the brand name. So it's like frustrating that she didn't want to listen, and and then she got all cocky with me about it. She's like, well, like, I'm trying to help you. You're refusing me to help you. It's like, I told you over and over and over and over that what the brand of the TV was. And, you know, you knew what it was because I told you. And I'm not going to keep repeating it to you because you want to hear it again and again and again and again and again. So it's like, whatever. So it's like, so she did like the screen share thing, like where she could see like what I'm doing so she can like walk me through it. So she finally ended up helping me. So now I got the remote working, and the point of this video is that, like the way that these agents are treating their customers is just like uncalled for, very unprofessional, for these agents to sit there and tell like a customer that they are being sarcastic or rude or whatever the case may be. That's where they need to suck it up, and deal with it, um, and like some of the agents have said, like the one agent had said, yeah, that's just uncalled for. You shouldn't have to sit there and be treated like that, and it's like, I know, like, I meant that, yeah, like I did swear at some of these agents, but it's because they weren't listening to me like at all, and he's like, yeah, like I hear ya, like what they did was just like uncalled for, and so it's like frustrating, like when you get agents that are like that they don't give a flying rat's ass, like like how rude or disrespectful or non-professional they are to their customers or potential customers. That and I'm surprised a lot of these agents that sit there and will disrespect customers, and potential customers and tell them that they're rude and sarcastic. It's just mind-boggling that a lot of these agents are like this and will do shit like that without getting like suspended for so many days or like a week or whatever the case may be, or let alone fired or um written up.